In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to create a custom GPT that pushes data over to Pabbly Connect. So we're going to create a simple custom GPT that gets a name and email and sends it via Webhook over to Pabbly Connect. So to get started, we're going to jump into this custom GPT that I created before that's going to create the actions schema builder. And it's going to create the schema needed that we're going to paste inside the actions. So it's pretty easy to use. You just hit start and follow the instructions. As you can see, it's going to ask for a title and description. So we're just going to go ahead and put the title, Pabbly Connect. Webhook connector, and then I'll create a simple description that just kind of tells what it is. Now this title and description could be pretty much anything. It's just going to get added to your schema so that way you know what the schema is used for. If you're coming back or if somebody else is working on it, it certainly helps. Now if I can spell correctly, it's always good. Alright, here we go. So I'll plug in a description, and here we go. GPT that sends data to Pabbly Connect via Webhook. So if you're not familiar with Pabbly Connect, the Webhook can be a trigger, and you can send the data inside that trigger, and that can start any kind of automation. For example, you could have it collect a name and email, as I'm going to do here, and then you could take that name and email and add it to a CRM. You could have it automatically respond. You could have it subscribe, add it to as a member to a subscription platform. I mean, you can pretty much do anything from there, or everything. You can do all those at once. Pretty cool. So we're going to jump over to Pabbly Connect, and we're going to create the workflow name, just simple custom GPT incoming webhook, and it's name it test and create. Kind of a long name, but you get the idea. So here we go. We're going to see the first option is webhook, and we're going to click the catch webhook, which is the preferred method. You could catch it with headers. Sometimes that's necessary depending on the data. Sometimes the security of the data requires headers, but we're going to leave this simple right now. And you can see this big long URL. We're going to copy that URL. We're going to come back over to, you can see that it was waiting for the webhook response. That just means it's waiting for the data. We will have to refresh it in a minute and make it trigger to wait again, but we're going to pop this in here, basically telling the GPT here that here's the URL that we're going to be sending the data to. Now it's asking for a path and a method, and since this is a simple webhook, we don't technically need a full path because it's built into the webhook URL, that long string that I just pasted in there. So I'm just going to tell the GPT that I'm just collecting the parameters of email and name. Actually, I'll start with name and then email, and that way I'll add the parameters. Now you can put whatever you want here. You could add 100 different fields. Obviously it would take quite a while for the video, so keeping it simple here. And there it goes. It's starting to create the full schema. Now I am noticing, now you want to take a look through here if you're not sure what this all means. You could drop a comment down below, or contact me via the links below, or visit my site treesatai.com and reach out to me that way. But there's the main things you're looking for here is the data, being the name and the email. You see there's objects as strings, and tells you it's going to be sent. One thing I am noticing, I believe the URL is missing, so I'll see if I can evaluate it. I just want to test it to see if it will actually catch the URL missing. It didn't put the webhook URL inside the schema. I believe that needs to be in there, so we're going to keep going assuming it's correct, and then I'll show you how to kind of problem solve really easily as well. All right, says it's going to work. All right, so we'll just copy it as it is and see if it actually works. Now I've created this, I've already started this custom GPT. It's really simple. It's just going to ask for a username, ask for an email address. Once both are received, it's going to connect via the webhook action below, and then tell the user it's sent the webhook. So we're going to create the new action down here. In this case, we don't need authentication, so we can leave that alone and pop in the schema here from that previous step. And okay, you can see there's no valid URL as I figured, so we're gonna try, actually this URL I don't think is correct, but let's just try this. There's a URL spot here, but I believe that's for the full schema. Sometimes there's a URL, it can be connected right there. So this just gives you the basic webhook test. It makes sure it works. There is a way you could keep it simple and just plug in the parameters here, but I like using that schema for the main purpose of the more complicated ones where you're actually using full APIs. You can always use a full schema, as you see here. When you're just doing a webhook, technically you could just use the simple one. As again, that's kind of a, you know, if you have questions on that, drop a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer. Alright, so yeah, there was, okay, when it did the evaluation, I just realized it did actually add in some more data in the code here, so we'll get that fixed. And here we go, we'll drop the full code in again. Okay, we still have another error about the, okay, so this is the other thing I want to show you. When you get these little errors down here, you can copy and paste the error, go back to the custom GPT, and basically just tell it, getting this error, and again, I typically put everything in quotes, but you can ask it to just go ahead and fix it, and there it goes. What was happening is there was no ID for the payload here, it looks like. So now we've got an ID, an operator ID. And again, this can be a little more complicated way to do it, especially when you're only working with webhooks, but this will work the same exact way when you're working with a deeper integration via an API, which would apply for even outside of Pabbly Connect. Alright, so now we've got all the errors cleared. Let's see if this works. One thing to note too, you have to have a privacy policy link if you're going to share this with anybody, or put it public when you have an action. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and put private for this demo. And let's go ahead and jump over to the GPT and see if it works. Alright, can you provide a name? Oh, got to make sure we have the webhook listening. Okay, otherwise when it sends the data it won't receive it, so we always go back to that Pabbly Webhook connector and make sure it's listening for the data during testing here. Once your action is live, it's always listening, and depending on your plan, it might be every 5 minutes or every 1 minute, but you don't have to do that step. That's just during testing here. So okay, so let's ask for name and email, plug both those in. Alright, it says thank you, I've sent the information via the webhook. Now the moment of truth, let's see if it actually worked. So we're going to jump over. And look at that. We have the data, the name and the email populated into the webhook. Just like that. So now from there we can take any automation that we want inside Pabbly Connect here, and we can go ahead and use this as a trigger, sending the data. So you could subscribe them to a list, you could send them an email, you could add them as a member, you could, you know, give them a product. I mean, you can do pretty much anything inside Pabbly Connect relatively easily. So if you have any questions on this, or you want any custom automations done, drop a comment down below or reach out to me at treesideai.com. Be happy to help. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, forward, subscribe. Have a great day.